I always love watching this channel. This is one of my favorite channels to watch. Japan's bizarre cult that did absolutely nothing wrong.
This was the moment police finally caught the notorious cult leader Sengoku Jesus. The 2-year-long manhunt was over, and now everyone wanted to know where he was keeping them.
Bro, he's about to pass out. What happened to this guy? He's about to, like, what's going on? He's completely gone. Is he high or is he dead?
Know where he was keeping the 15 missing women, and if any of them were even still alive. But before they could answer that question, the police released him. They just let him walk. The public was absolutely stunned, but this was only the first of many shocking revelations to come. This is the story of Jesus's Ark.
This is Jesus.
Japan,
this is how Jesus in Japan fell. Are you ready for this trip?
5 years before he was the most wanted guy in the country, Sengoku Takeyoshi was a 52-year-old door-to-door knife salesman. You might think he's a loser, but this guy survived World War II and once owned an entire knife factory. And you know what? Sengoku was one hell of a knife salesman. He was just a charming guy with a magnetism that made everyday folks trust him. And the ladies, they loved him.
God damn.
After he showed the housewives his knives, he'd ask if they'd ever heard of a cool cat named Jesus Christ. Most Japanese
ever heard about this guy?
The first thing about old
Not that
JC,
popular, but you
the
know.
last time he came over, some very unchill things happened.
Oh God.
But if Sengoku was the one leading the Bible study group, now they were interested. But you're probably wondering, who the hell would go to a Bible study group led by a knife salesman? As it turns out, a lot of people, mostly young women. What really drew them in was the way Sengoku talked about his dark past. He didn't lie, he used to be a really bad guy, a spoiled brat whose rich parents would bail him out of trouble every time. The Navy gave him a really bad temper, so bad it bankrupted his knife factory. But he was one of those guys, the Bible saved my life kind of guys. Only problem was, he hated the church and hated
Hi Muffin, how you doing?
All he wanted was to read the Bible and become more like Jesus. Teach like Jesus.
Teach like Jesus
lived. So what did he do? He started a commune, specifically a Bible study commune that he called Jesus's Ark. You know, like Noah. Within a year,
he's gonna build the ark. He knows about the Ragnarok. He knows about the end of the world. He's gonna be he's the resurrection of Jesus in Japan. I think, is this the guy that is dead? Like, I know there's like a momentum somewhere in Japan where they think that Jesus died in Japan, and they have like the momentum of where Jesus is, and it's just like basically a hill with a cross on it, and they call it, this is where it just says that this is where Jesus is dead. Is that him? Is this the guy that's dead there?
To live here, an 80 square meter prefab shack on the outskirts of Tokyo, surrounded by a makeshift iron fence. By the late 70s, 26 people.
What doesn't say the Holy Spirit like gating people in?
We'll call this place home. As you could imagine, the parents of these runaway girls were pissed. Every day they'd show up banging on the walls of the compound and screaming. But that didn't work. The women were now more loyal to a knife salesman than their own freaking parents.
God
the
damn.
mothers eventually got so desperate, they went to the police, who put detectives on the case. Tensions got so hot that in May of '78, a police squad busted down the door of the compound. But it was too late. The group had disappeared. Sengoku was tipped off about the raid and snuck away with his followers the night before. They were now drifters, running from town to town.
Bro, what is going on?
Sengoku kept a tight ship. If any of them got pulled over, even for speeding, and had to show their ID, they'd pack up and move to a new city the very next day. They hustled, working any job they could to make ends meet. He had them selling clothes, tea, seaweed, and you guessed it.
It is impressive how somebody managed to manipulate people that easily. Like, and drag them away from family and by choice. Like, it's kind of terrifying to think that there were many cult leaders like this. It's kind of insane. Like, how the hell do you do this?
Knives. When that wasn't enough, Sengoku's followers dipped into their own savings. One woman even sold her house to help
it's insane.
them stay afloat. Over the next 2 years, they set up in more cities than Cirque du Soleil. Meanwhile, desperate parents were reaching out to every news organization they could, and after hundreds of letters, finally one listened. Feminist magazine Fujin Koron In January 1980, they ran a full-page article titled, "Sengoku Jesus, Return Our Daughters." The media went wild, painting this picture of a smooth-talking cult leader who brainwashed susceptible young women.
He's like, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I'm a smooth talker. Thank you for that detail.
Stole them from their
Oh my
parents.
God.
This was the year after the Jonestown
What
massacre,
with that
so death
smug
cults were on
face?
everyone's mind. Some magazines started comparing Jesus' arc to Manson and his family, and others claimed that Sengoku had created a harem. So, Sengoku was now public.
Yeah, this is an anime. This is an harem? Yeah. Making an anime about this dude.
Enemy number one.
The holy
Every
harem,
day,
the arc
tabloids
of
pumped out
harems.
New stories which only got crazier and crazier. I'm talking stuff like
Jesus
Sengoku
reincarnated
Jesus has
into
already
him.
killed the women one by
He'd
one.
win.
Was Sengoku Jesus behind the mysterious 300 million yen heist? Yeah, some of these conspiracy theories were obviously nuts, but it shows you just how terrified people were of him. Around this time, a bunch of media outlets started receiving letters, this time from the women, apparently. They all said the same things. "We're fine. We weren't kidnapped."
What's an
and we're
harem? Harem
definitely
is essentially like having basically like a lot of people, like the basics, easiest way to explain it is that an harem is basically having like a bunch of people that idolize you and love you. That's what it is, like having a group of people. So whenever you have like a mixed relationship between like let's say 6 people, you're kind of causing an harem because there you have like, you're basically having a form of relationship with 6 different people.
not a death cult. Yeah, that's a totally reassuring sentence. Needless to say, these letters were not convincing anybody. All the commotion soon made its way to the Japanese Diet, their parliament, where representatives
Like
called
wife
Jesus'
living
arc
with
a group
3
of
wives and 4 girlfriends. Yeah, kind of. I
fanatics
guess.
and demanded an
Wait,
investigation.
mom?
Next thing you know,
You're having
the
a
police began
harem with your
massive
mom? Dude, you're
2,000
ballsy.
strong manhunt. They searched everywhere and came up with nothing. 6 months later, the cops were losing hope and running out of leads when all of a sudden they got a
And
call
the thing
from
you
a
know, we
very
talked about
unlikely
Alabama,
source.
buddy.
An ambulance had just picked up a strange, ragged-looking old man who fit Sengoku's description. He had had a heart attack, but when they asked his name, he refused to answer. Just like that, they got him.
They
cops
got the
weren't taking
guy.
any chances, though. They immediately put a guard right outside Sengoku's hospital room, but that didn't keep the reporters out.
自分のやったことはどうも申し訳ないと思いますか。なんでしてやってくれませんか。なんか信念でやった。
Bro, he's not even awake. What are you asking me questions for? Dude is passed the fuck off.
信念でやったことなの。
そうしか言えませんね。
で、悪いとは思わない。娘たちに迷惑かけたと思わない。病人なんでお願いします。
そういう簡単な言葉ではちょっと表現できないんですが。
The investigators followed the ambulance call to the dormitories of a printing company and hit the jackpot. There they
Shit
found
was lit,
Sengoku's wife
fam.
and all of the missing women. They were safe. But something was wrong. Before we continue the story, I'd like to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. These are Japanese snack boxes
That is
are shipped to
smart,
your
man. You're doing the ads so you get double ad revenue. Genius. I've never seen this before. I've never seen one take double ad sponsorship in one, like fucking, like put them all together.
house every
God
month.
damn.
I have 2 to show you today, both of which have special Valentine's Day themes.
Ah.
Tokyo Treat provides exciting limited edition Japanese snacks.
Get this for your
their Be My
Valentine.
Valentine theme this month, they have strawberry
I'm waiting,
shortcake
chat.
Kit Kat,
I want to buy Tokyo treats. Why don't you order
Pokemon
some?
candy hearts. I got the rare Pikachu. Oh my god! And much more. I could not believe how much stuff they fit in these boxes. Sakurako is more traditional.
Are they not
themed. Partner with
international?
Local snack makers. Their Valentine's indulgence box had this chocolate crunch thing. It was so good. A chocolate Danish, and even some tea.
Wow. Thank you.
Each box comes with special tableware. This month's came with a cool plate. Both boxes come with booklets that explain the snacks and give allergen information. This Valentine's Day, consider Tokyo Treat or Sakurako for yourself or your loved ones, so you can experience Japan from the comfort of your own home.
I'll
Use
be
the
honest,
code
those cookies look
Japanalysis
good,
for
though.
$5 off. Back to the video. So, the police had caught Sengoku
In
and
subscription
saved the
last time I
women.
remember.
Next,
Yeah, it
they
gives you
picked
basically
Sengoku up-
things every month, I think it is. That's the subscription. Every 2 weeks, I don't know. But yeah, you sub 1 month and you can cancel it after that.
From the hospital in handcuffs. He was taken to a cell and charged
They're
with
pretty,
defamation
right?
and assault. Everyone in Japan celebrated the news. Everyone but the last people you'd expect. The women he had supposedly kidnapped. The day after Sengoku's arrest, all of them got together and held a press conference, flat out denying that they had been held against their will. Not only that,
That's
they
right
tore
there.
into the media for painting Sengoku and Jesus' Ark as some kind of dangerous cult.
とにかく当面はね、この問題を解決することしかないと思うんですね。解決ってのはどういうことですか？一番ね、最善の方法としてはね、その親御さんちゃんと話し合いされてね、お互いのね、こう誤解っていうかね、それが解けて、でそれぞれね、自分の人生をね、自分の意思のままにね、こう歩かれることじゃないですか。2年間の逃亡生活がね、成り立ったって逃亡生活ってやり方はね、すごくこう妥当性を書くと思うんですけども、そのやり方が成り立ったっていうこと自体がね、結局ね、そのおっちゃんっていうね、人格っていうものをそこにね、示してるんじゃないかと思うんですね。
Sengoku's followers respected and looked up to him. He was patient and kind. He was their teacher. Sengoku lived and worked alongside his disciples. He even built their first commune with his own 2 hands. He was just a great leader, simple as that. Needless to say, all of the harem allegations were completely rejected.
God damn.
夫婦っていう形以外はありません。
So what made these women leave their comfortable middle-class lifestyles for a knife salesman's shack in the first place? Well, it's something every red-blooded American knows a thing or two about. Freedom and meaning in life.
Hey,
They found
brother.
this message liberating. As one woman explains, the pressure to excel was tremendous, but those who achieved it didn't seem happy at all. Why? The luxury jacuzzi that her dad bought for her was nice, but she felt happier in the commune's cold concrete bath. In the end, the whole Jesus' Ark kidnapping story was nothing more than a fairy tale spun by the media. Sengoku never even used the name Sengoku Jesus. They made that up too. After the press
He was
conference,
just a chill dude trying to free people off and talk to them and vibe in. Bro, what? How did they figure out this thing at all? Like, where did they get Jesus into the mix?
the police had nothing to hold Sengoku on.
What a
they
weird
had to let him
thing
go. They
to
released
call
him.
him.
He was free. That was it. So
There
what
we
did
go.
he do next? Well, he came back even harder. He moved to
Ooh.
Fukuoka and built
Made
a
a
mega
DLC.
commune. By this point, the police had already
Started
brought
building
all the women
houses.
back to their families. But once they heard that Sengoku was free and what he was building,
娘さんたちは全部親御さんのところに一度帰りましたね。
いやいや、帰りました、帰りました。
それが全員戻ってきたんですか。
全員、
The women
yes,
came
every
back,
single
dude.
one
He's that
from all over
clean.
Japan came right back to him. But maybe you're still not convinced. Maybe this story about a creepy cult leader guy actually being totally cool is a bit hard to believe. But you want to know the most shocking part of this whole thing? Everything I've told you so far took place in 1979, 1980. Well, guess what? 45 years later, they're still together.
What?
They still live in the commune. After the whole scandal blew
What
over
are they
and they all came
doing?
back to Sengoku, they started living a mostly normal life. As normal as it can be living in the Jesus
Dude, this guy literally just have like 30 wives. What is happening?
a commune at least. The women started a restaurant back in the 80s and it's done pretty well. I mean, it's still open, but more on that later. They all continue studying the Bible and practicing Sengoku's tenets of eliminating ego and helping others. In 2001, Sengoku passed away from natural causes at the age of 78.
So he's dead, but they just stuck together and kept them doing what they're doing.
His widow, now 92, has led the commune ever since. It's now women only and has 12 inhabitants, most of them elderly. They rotate cooking and weekly tasks in the commune, which has dormitories and a specific area for Bible study. When the women go out, they always go in groups, even for shopping. This is a rule that Sengoku made for them after the media scandal, and they still follow it today. The restaurant they started, it's called Daughters of Zion, and it's actually something called a snack, which is a Japan-specific type of business. If you've ever heard of a hostess club, it's kind of like on the same spectrum, but much tamer, closer to a normal bar. Generally, the patrons are men who do pay to sit at the bar, chat, and eat hand-cooked food. But Daughters of Zion has very strict rules. Men cannot buy drinks for the women. Women can't even drink on the job. Unlike hostess clubs, the men are not allowed to sit on the same side as the women, and they're definitely not allowed to invite them to meet outside. The women put on some great shows too. Things like piano, singing, dancing, and Japanese theater. If you're interested, you can go visit. But please be respectful, they probably don't get very many foreign guests. You might be wondering, has anyone left Jesus' Ark? And the answer is yes, a few people over the years. One of the reasons people leave is that the commune added a no marriage rule. Members who get married must leave. I guess the idea is that the commune is supposed to be all single women now. The members who get married are still allowed to participate in all the activities and Bible study and stuff. They just can't live in the commune anymore. Oh yeah, by the way,
I mean, like, it sounded like just a gang hanging out and chilling, doing their own thing, having their own business, following their religion. And if they feel like they want to meet someone and go have a family, they can just get the fuck out. I mean, if that's the case, I don't see anything wrong here at all. She's kind of nice. Like, if you don't know what the hell to do in life and you're just like kind of lonely, maybe this might be it. I don't know.
I forgot to mention, they have a monkey. Guys, monkey.
They're basically nuns. Yeah, they're basically nuns that they can kind of host some form of host club, and they're also able to leave and get married if they want.
The
You got a
Jesus'
monkey.
Ark story severely tarnished.
You
the
don't need
reputation
men.
of Japanese
You have a
media
monkey. That's good
organizations.
enough.
The public kind of caught on that the media spent years attacking an innocent man when the evidence that they were wrong was right in front of them. It would take decades for the media to regain the trust of the public. Seriously, even when the Olmu Shindikyo, an actual dangerous cult, started popping up in 1989, news organizations sounding the alarm had to go out of their way and write, "This isn't like Jesus' Ark, we promise." Basically, everyone's come to accept that Sengoku never led a cult and certainly never assaulted anyone. A drama was made about his life in 1985 starring Biito Takeshi. Honestly, this is one of my favorite stories I've ever put on my channel. When I started researching, I thought if I kept digging and digging, eventually I'd find something bad that Sengoku did, but I never found anything. I'm definitely going to go visit the Daughters of Zion bar next time I'm in Japan, and when I do, I'll make another video and talk about my experience there. This was a really fun video to make, even though it's a bit different from my normal content. So if you enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe, because that tells me I can make stuff like this in the future, which I love doing. Thank you very much to my patrons, including Woo, NCR Trooper Scout, Manji-san13, Ethan Campbell, and Jason.Artist. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like whenever you listen to these things, it's kind of hard to not think that they are basically brainwashed. It's very hard to not think that way because you've seen so many scenarios like this, and the members are always been brainwashed in many sort of way, and that's why they try to defend and go back because they feel lost. They don't know what to do without them. But I feel like it's kind of the way it sort of ended and the way things have changed after his past. It seemed like maybe that's not really the case. Maybe this was just a good place for some of them to be at and stay with instead of like really following, sort of just being like, I'm following, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, etc. Now they kind of just have a place where they have a bunch of friends and they're doing activities and feel just happy about that. It seems kind of nice. I mean, yeah, but brainwashed to read the Bible, I don't know. They're reading the Bible. So the thing is that religion in many ways can be looked as a way to gather families and just be together. And you can look upon religion and you can always take the negatives of religion and use that. But in many cases, many people see religion as a way to be together. So religion could just be like one gateway for the group to just like collectively have some few rules that they wish to follow, which makes them have these gatherings and basically allows them to like essentially have a common thing that they can talk about and discuss. And yeah, I don't know, it really depends, but usually it's such a wild topic to talk about because like most of these scenarios tends to be tends to never have a happy ending like this one, because it seems like they kind of ended happily. They seem to all be having a good time, but most of the cult situations tend to be pretty grotesque and grim and sad. So yeah, but yeah, that's a nice story, nice to listen to. Hi, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe. I'll post videos nearly every day, so if you want to watch any more reactions, feel free to subscribe and I'll see you there.